guys, welcome to Super Bale Sews. My name's Sarah. Thanks for joining me today. It is Friday Sews time again. I was about to say the date, but I've just realised I don't actually know. Is it the 26th or the 25th? One of those. Happy Friday. Hope you've had a good week. I felt like I was super productive at the start of the week, and then it's sort of fallen away. Work is really busy at the moment. I'm sort of leaning in because I like being able to pay my bills, basically. And I've been in a bit of a weird space with singing stuff. I'll maybe talk about that a bit later, but I'll talk about sewing stuff first. So you will see, and if you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen this dress already. But I finished my Lubox dress. I sewed it up really, really quickly. It was all cut out and sewn up on Sunday. And it's really done what I wanted it to do. I've worn it to work all week. Very easy to wear. It's this double knit fabric, which has a slight, like the top layer feels a bit more like a textured knit almost. It's just got something just a little bit more about it. It's got this gorgeous print on, which is like, it's sort of like just little dots, but it looks like bursts of flowers. And I like that because the fabric is on this navy base. It has these bright colours, but it makes it still be appropriate for work because of that darker base. So I really like that. Now the Lubox dress I hadn't made before, and I actually hadn't made anything by Sew DIY, who are the brand who make this. This is the Lubox dress 2. So there is a Lubox dress 1 out there somewhere, don't know where. I made some changes to this. So some really good things about this pattern. It's got a good size range. It can be made in both knit and woven fabric. For this fabric, it has stretch this way, but not that way, which is fine. That works for a lot of stretch patterns. I picked it because it had a more relaxed silhouette. A lot of patterns for knit fabric are a bit more fitted, and I just wanted something that was loose that I could throw on. It has off the shoulder drop sleeves. Now, I think they are a bit lower than I would like them to be. So I think if I made this again, I would just play around with taking some of the width off that shoulder piece, because the drop sleeve was very low and I had to take quite a lot of length off the bottom of the sleeve. So I think if I actually just lifted it a bit, that would have been a bit better. I'll pop a picture here of me wearing it so you can see it on. It's got this nice ballet neckline. Now, the only thing that I didn't love in the construction of this, and the construction's pretty simple, is the facing. I've talked about facing before. The method of attaching the facing just was like, seemed a bit faffy to me. And then it was still all sticking out, and then I ended up really trimming it down loads. And again, next time I'll probably just do it with binding. I was just following the process because it was a new pattern and I wanted to see. You never know if there's going to be a step that suddenly is actually much more efficient than what you've been doing. So when I've got a new pattern, I try to go with it. And then if I feel like, then I'll switch it. So yeah, the neck, the facing, I would do with binding next time, like a knit binding, and then just fold it over, because that's effectively what I've ended up with anyway after I faffed about. It's this ballet neckline. They also have a lower scoop neckline available. Again, in this fabric, it kept sort of buckling at the center here, which I think is probably because it's a little bit too long. So again, I might just take, it looks fine here, but I think it's when you're moving around and the width doesn't sit sort of perfectly in place, it ended up sort of slipping forward on me. So I, again, would probably make an adjustment for neckline next time I make it. But generally, it's super simple dress, to be honest. Elasticated waist, loose fit. So you do have these little pockets in the front skirt, but I omitted those because I just thought I didn't need them. And I think in a stretch fabric, they would have made the dress look a bit more casual, and I wanted this for work. So I just cut out, it was really easy. You just don't cut the curved bits. I just sort of squared it off at the top and then cut that out instead of the curved gaps that were left for the pockets. Yeah, so really quick sew. It does exactly what I need it to do. I also omitted, I think there's like a chest pocket, which I also didn't have. Again, because I just thought with the fabric, it would just look a bit more cash. But yeah, really, as I said, I've worn it to work all week. The print is really nice. It's very comfy, easy to throw on. The fabric doesn't really crease. Win-win. So the other thing that I sewed up last weekend, I've not quite finished it, is my hooded scarf. I'm going to put it on for you now. I have a ponytail on, so this is not going to be the best. Okay, my ponytail's like pushing up at the back. So when I don't have my hair up high, this will not sit quite so high at the back. And then you'll have your little scarf, like little Red Riding Hood. So yeah, so it's pulling up at the back because of my ponytail, so it's not sitting quite right. But yes, my little Red Riding Hooded scarf. It's not quite finished. I've done all the machine stitching, and then you're supposed to add blanket stitches around the edge. So it's got this really fun, the raw edges are like out all the way around, but then you use the stitch line as a guide for your blanket stitching, and then that like stitches over the edge, which I think is going to look really cute. I mentioned to you before that this was a project because I wanted some hand sewing that I could do so that I wasn't always shutting myself away from everybody in my life to sew by myself. And I haven't gotten around to doing the blanket stitching yet. So that is, but this is all constructed. 3-piece hood, nice long hoop, scarf, lovely. So again, for me, I've got quite thick hair, and when I wear it in a ponytail, nothing's going on there, not gonna lie. So yeah, this will be one for a low ponytail or a hair down day. But yeah, so pleased with that. So those are the 2 things I've sewn up this week. Now I'm thinking about what I'm going to do moving forward. I mostly am going to be sewing for other people. I don't think I'm going to get all of my baby makes this week because I think I'm going to get bored if I do that. So, but I'm doing some. So one of my friends had a baby literally last week. The baby came a bit early. And I have some plans for her, which is a bit bigger of what I'm going to make. I have some of the strawberry viscose linen left over from the Mabel dress I made last year, and her mum really admired that fabric, and I think I've got enough left to make her little girl a little dress. So I'm going to do that when she's a bit bigger and when the weather's a bit warmer. But what I'm going to make for now, I've got these sweatshirting fabrics. So I'm going to colour block. I might see, possibly in my stash, I have a lighter colour, like some scraps of a lighter colour left as well. I'll see. But I'm going to make a cute little sweatshirt with a patch on it. And I'm also going to make, I think, a pansy dress out of this. I plan to do PJs for my godchildren out of this for Christmas, but ran out of time. So I've got enough to make a few different garments with this. So I'm going to make a little pansy dress, which I think will be cute for a little tiny baby. I try not to exclusively make things in pink for kids. You know, until they can pick if they want to. So like my eldest goddaughter, I gave her things in all the different colours of the rainbow, and now all she wants to wear is pink. But she's choosing to wear pink, so I'm like, fair enough. But I just try and like mix it up a bit. But I know some people, when their babies are really young, like often people maybe can't tell the gender unless you dress them in a certain way. So I think a lot of people like put girls in pink to be like, it's a girl or whatever. Anyway, so I've got a mix there. So these I think are like less traditionally girly colours, and then this is obviously, I mean, is very, very pink. So yeah, so I'm going to do those. I'm going to hopefully get the pattern sorted out for the jumper I'm making my mum. I'm planning on drawing it from a jumper she already has that she loved, but that now has a big grease stain on it. So yeah, I need to just sit down. I've not actually done that before, but I know there are lots of tutorials. And I feel like it's only going to be front piece, a back piece, the sleeves, and the neck. It's got like a high neck. So how hard can it be? I think it's going to be fine. So that's another job for the weekend. Now, the other thing I wanted to ask was a bit of your advice. So I have this fabric. I'm thinking of making something up in it for Valentine's Day, but I can't decide what. Now, generally, I say I make stuff for Valentine's Day. I wear, like last year, I made a Marnie blouse in this heart print crepe fabric from Fabric Godmother, and I wear that all the time. I don't just wear it I might have made it inspired by Valentine's Day, but I wear it year round, so I'm not just making this for Valentine's, but Valentine's is what's getting me to use up this fabric. So this is from Sew Me Sunshine. I bought it last year. It is this. Now, I don't know if you can see the print. It's like, what would you call it? It's like sort of Greek gods or something. Pretty. And it's on this, sorry, it's sliding all over the blooming place. It's on this like crinkle fabric. So there's quite a bit of give in there. It's a pink colour that I'm not 100% sure is going to suit me, but I just thought the print was kind of cute. So we're going to roll with it. But I don't know. So I'm having an absolute nightmare showing this to you. Right. I don't know what to make with it. So I was thinking maybe like a little blouse. I keep being drawn to the actually, before I go off on a tangent, I don't like. I always like the idea of making blouses, but when I'm off work, all I wear are leggings and big oversized jumpers, unless I'm going out somewhere. And like in work, I don't have loads of stuff that's like plain that I could wear with a really patterned blouse. So I do need to think a bit about how much I would wear it. But I would like to make something with this fabric. So here's a little close up again. It's a little bit see-through, but I think against the skin it would be all right. Yeah, I mean, what do I do? Help me. It's the crinkle bit that's throwing me off, because it's actually really drapey, but obviously the crinkle gives it just a little bit more volume. Yeah, and I just think it'd be quite cute for Valentine's Day, because there are little cupids on here somewhere. Or maybe they're not cupids. They look like cupids, little cherub type things. Yeah, so I would like to sew this up, and this is one where it's just been sat in my stash since I bought it. But I'm just feeling uninspired. I see the Anna Allen Anthea blouse, but it's not size inclusive. But I like the shape. So if anyone knows of a blouse that has maybe a similar shape to that, but just has a better size range, let me know. Or if you're thinking, oh my gosh, Sarah, this is what you have to make with it. Because I have thought about making a Marnie actually as well, but maybe not doing the pleats. But I think the sleeves on the Marnie are really nice and would look cute in this. So maybe I do another Marnie. Although my Marnie pattern is in storage, because this is what I'm finding, half my stuff is in storage. Because I think we just didn't think we were going to be out of our house for as long, which tale as old as time. This is how building work goes. But yeah, if you have any thoughts on that crinkle fabric, let me know, because I really would like to get it made into something sooner rather than later. Yeah, so that's it for me at the moment. As I was saying, like, work stuff's been a bit weird recently. So actual work stuff is really busy. I'm doing loads of teaching. I'm running these choirs. I'm running musical theatre schools. I'm doing all sorts of stuff. And schedule is like packed out. 6 days a week, really busy. Fab. And I'm enjoying it, and I feel like I'm progressing, and I'm, so that's all great. Singing stuff has been weird for me for a while. So I think prior to COVID, I'd already started to make a decision that I was going to move away from singing in like a really aggressive full-time capacity, because I wasn't enjoying it. I was finding that the higher up the ladder I was going, the less like creatively fulfilled I was feeling. But also I was getting a bit sick of, I feel like certain people really make you jump through lots of hoops, and there comes a point where it's like, I just don't know if I love doing this enough to sacrifice all the things that you're asked to sacrifice. It's a bit of a weird one to explain, because I think if you're not in that industry, it can be really difficult to understand what the reality is of the industry versus what people think the reality is. And I found that the work I was really enjoying and that I was finding very fulfilling were things where I was singing, like a community choir might hire a professional to come and sing in their concerts, and that I really enjoyed. Or doing like more casual projects where you're in with lots of other people who are really good singers, but it's just like much less pressure and you have much more space for creativity. So prior to COVID, I'd already thought, right, I'm going to step back. I'm going to bring my teaching up, make more money from that. And then I'm going to just take some singing jobs that I like, but I'm not going to pursue it as a full-time thing anymore. Then COVID happened, obviously. At the end of 2020, I got COVID for the first time, and I was not really ill with it. I had it was like coughy, coldy, flu-y thing, but I didn't have the breathing issues. I didn't have a lot of the things that people were having. So I had it quite easy, but my voice has never recovered properly from it. And it's a really difficult thing to describe, because I can still sing. And so people are like, oh, but you can still sing. But I've lost like the whole top of my range. My stamina's never come back. Like 90% of the things that I would have sung, like the roles I would have sung and the concert pieces I would have sung before COVID, I now cannot sing. So I'm still able to sing, fortunately. Like, it's not wiped my voice out, but I cannot sing anywhere near to the level that I was singing at before. And yeah, it's been a bit of a weird one. Sewing actually has been a massive gift in that sense, because I think the reason I've not struggled with that more is because around the time that was all sort of falling apart, I found creativity in sewing, and it's really like filled a space for me there, and I have a lot of control over, I can make whatever I like, I can do as much or as little as I want, do you know what I mean? So there is definitely a link between the first thing happening and then how sewing has filled that space for me a bit. But yeah, it's a weird one, and I think sometimes you don't want to say that because it's like this sounds so stupid. I identify as an opera singer because it's what I've done my whole life, but like I'm not actively putting myself forward for any singing, and I haven't for ages. So all of the singing I do is from people approaching me, and fortunately I've been able to keep doing bits and bobs. Do you know what I mean? I've been singing here and there, but it's been a really weird time, and I think I had this realization yesterday that there are some people I was quite pally with when I was at not at university, music college. Most of the ones I was close to, I'm still pally with. But it's like when you step out of the industry, there are a lot of people who their interest in you sort of goes, because when you're in that world, it's like it's your whole world. And suddenly it's like there's not space for people if they aren't in that world anymore. And that's one of the realities of the industry that's like, it's just been on my mind a lot this week. And I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I just think I don't know, it's just been there in my mind. So I thought I'd share it with you, because what do? I come on my channel and then I talk to you for endless minutes. But yeah, so when I said I was in a weird place with singing, that's sort of where I was at. I've got a gig next week, so I'm doing a bit of singing next week. Nothing major. And I'm just sort of trying to think about how do I get, now that I feel like I've got this part of my creativity covered, I am thinking, well, I want to make sure I don't stop singing altogether. So I'm trying to work out, like, maybe the stuff I can, I've got lots of friends who sing as well, who often, quite a few of them are not singing full-time either, because since COVID, the funding has gone down anyway. So it's much more difficult to get full-time singing work. Yeah, so I've just been thinking like, oh, maybe I need to be more proactive. Maybe I need to be looking at other people I know and being like, why don't we do something ourselves? Put something on. I don't know. Anyway, so I don't know I'd be interested to know if other people have, this is obviously a part of your creativity, but then do you have another area? Do you have another do you like writing poetry, or like painting, or I don't know, or another musical instrument, or singing, or acting, or whatever? Yeah, I'd be interested to know how that like corresponds. But for me, sewing has been really like therapy, because it has given me like this outlet, even during COVID when I wasn't singing initially because everything was closed. It was like just having something to do to put that energy into, like that creative energy into something, was really, really invaluable to me. And I think is the thing that has stopped me from sort of having a meltdown about my voice being permanently changed. As I said, I can still sing. All the videos you see me post on here are things that I've sung since I had COVID. So I can still sing like that. I just can't sing like the me from 2019 or even 2020. I did a concert like 2 weeks before the first lockdown. So like I just can't sing like that anymore, but that's okay. Just the me of now, and the me of now likes to sew and will find more singing space, I'm sure. Anyway, that's it from me. As always, I think I don't have much to talk about, and then you can't shut me up. So there we go. I hope you had a great week. I'm really behind on the comments from the last video. So if you've commented, again, I read them at the time, and then I'm like, respond to this later, and then I forget. But it's on my list for this weekend. So I'll go through and respond. I really appreciate all of the comments. And I've got another vlog coming on Sunday, which is my Nova coat reveal. So Ruan, the Yorkshire Sew Girl, hers will be up too. So please do check both of those out. And I will see you next time. All right, bye guys.